Stop asking, what model should I be using? If you're feeling overwhelmed by the whole AI space, but you still want to build agentic workflows, then this video is probably for you. And you go from asking the question of what LLM model should I be using to understanding why that is the wrong question you should be asking, to what harnesses are and why they are so incredibly important. Now, let me first explain what a harness is in simple terms, and then I'll expand with a metaphor. So, a harness is basically an orchestrator that uses an LLM model. So the LLM model is basically useless without this harness. And this harness has a set of skills that allow it to do different things. So for example, to maybe research the web, use a browser to query a database. And it can also use context. It can use information to achieve an outcome. Now, this might sound very abstract, so let me actually create a visual model for you. So you can imagine you're actually going into a horse stable with a lot of horses in it. And you can imagine every horse is actually an LLM model. So maybe you've got a small pony all at the end, which is a very cheap but fast model that can do some tasks, maybe not complex ones. Then you've got a white stallion, which is really good at highly complex tasks, but is also very expensive. So you're in this stable, and then you continue walking, and on the left-hand side, you've got these harnesses. And if you're familiar with horses, a harness is something that you put onto the horse, and it basically controls the horse, right? And you've got different types of harnesses from different providers. Now, if we go back into the AI world, so every provider like Claude, if you're in Claude Code, that's a harness. If you're using ChatGPT, Codex is a harness. If you're using Gemini, Gemini's got a harness, Gemini's got a harness. There are also some other LLM models to access the different skills that you provide. So skills are, like I mentioned before, it's knowledge on how to do something, and it can be combined with how to actually access information from an API endpoint, or maybe how you actually want it to write blog posts in your tone and voice. That could be a skill. And the context is all of the information that it needs in order to achieve the goal that you set it out. As an example, if I want to have my agent use an LLM model to write a blog post, I might first use a skill to get some keywords from an API endpoint. It will maybe use another skill, or actually will use a set of tools to do some deep research to get the information from different blog posts. And the information that it gets is context that it needs in order to write the post. And then it will use another skill in order to write the post in my tone and voice with SEO best practices. And then it will use another skill to publish that to WordPress. All right, and that's what a harness does. It orchestrates the LLM, and without this harness, the LLM is useless, more or less. Now, interestingly enough, and that's something that many people have tried, you can actually get a lot better outputs by using a much better harness with the same model. As an example, I've seen some examples. to put it also into context, if you're thinking of building agentic workflows, you also have to think about what kind of data you're working with. So if you're working like with more sensitive data, you might not want to use one of the top tier frontier models that train on your data, but you might want to use a local LLM model as well as a harness that can work with that. And you have that all on premise with no contact to the internet. And then understanding that you can actually increase local LLM's capacity and power by giving it all of the necessary context and skills through the harness, it can get incredibly good results. And I think that is one of the most important reasons why I think you shouldn't really be asking what model is the best for my task, and more, how can I actually increase the model's performance by choosing the right harness and giving it the right skills and context.